All right. This is my chill time. It's beautiful out here. I was gonna do this live, but I don't know. I'm not really well versed. I feel on I don't know, holding my own platforms to speak myself. You know what I mean? So that's why I didn't. But eventually I will. But I just wanted to make this video to just talk about life and reality, and for me, I guess the beauty in it, But of course, what's going on today is kind of wild. You know what I mean? So a lot of people, are very confused as far as like what's going on. And I'm not gonna talk like I know every single thing that's going on in detailed form for the masses. You know what I mean? That you need this and shit like that. But this video was really for those who are spiritually inclined, those who feel that connection, and whether, regardless of your level of connection or not, or holding that frequency or not, but you have tapped into it or know how to tap into it, and you know that a lot of the ways that we live and shit is not what it is on face value. So this video is for y'all, and it's for those who feel that within them, and then they feel something where it's like, all right, they know what time it is, but may not know exactly what's going on. So first, I guess to get to the end, the reality of humanity and how we see all humanity in the physical realm is breaking down. It's dying, and it's going to transform. And it's something that has been prophesized for a long time and has happened many times in the past throughout history. And this is one of the dire times where it's happening again. And it's happening on its own certain octave in a way that certain things is different this time around, So the reason why we really don't see it in this way, this thing filled with bugs. The reason why we don't see things in this way is because of how we've been conditioned and trained to see reality and to even view humanity and view the third dimension and shit. You know what I mean? It's something that we've been trained to really only equate our brains with our dick or our pussy or our stomach. You know what I mean? Those things that is just for our body and just for the flesh. And the same way science may say, oh, you only use 2% of your brain, it's kind of like that. This third dimension really is only 2% of really what really is, We can get into the semantics of things, but we can even talk about just the things in your mind that you don't see. Yeah, you don't see a thought, but you see the result of one, depending on what you do with it, So you can think on a concept like that. But I really just wanted to make this kind of intro video to really just kind of freestyle about the importance of certain things at this time. And it looks like so much is going on externally, because a lot of shit is going on externally. And so things I may say as far as like meditating and remembering who you are may sound like very minuscule compared to the magnitude of how you believe things are occurring. But I assure you that in a world where we are inundated with following our senses as truth, this is a major weapon, and this is one of the weapons that they're fighting against with misinformation, with sensationalism and dramatization, and with the fear of dying. That's a huge thing too. Even how we see life and death is not right and exact. If we look at our ancient cultures and our ancient texts, then not only that, a lot of the information I get comes from source. It comes from within. I'm told these things. You know what I mean? And then those things are confirmed by ancient texts that we created and we wrote. You know what I mean? There are many people like me all over the planet. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, a lot of people in certain high places, they know that, whether they're physical or not, they know that, and it behooves them for them to not try to stop us from evolving, because that means humanity is done. and it's going to be done. There's something inside of us, our souls, our spirits, that is the real us. And who I am as Kervin, who I am as Paranom, is just the role that I chose to play for this grand stage of alchemy. And in a nutshell, that's the reason why even humanity exists in the third dimension the way that it does. To go through the shit so we can climb back up to who we really are. And this is what the real fight is about. This is what the real fight is about. We can talk about, all right, different ways that lock us into our current humanity consciousness. The ways that we relate as family, you know, what we deem as beneficial or healthy, just different things like that. Just think about how a baby is born, and then we teach babies how to be human, you know. The baby touches the stove, that baby gets burned. It learns not to touch it, you know what I mean? That's just a small concept for many different things. So a lot of these things we're taught. We can then, you know, fast forward, skimming over, you know what I mean, a little bit, but follow me. Like, we can start thinking about the different concepts that we use to teach and think about the origins of those things and where they came from. A lot of it comes from bullshit. A lot of it comes from just third dimension consciousness that has nothing to do with who you really are. And the society and world that has been created with these concepts that has been, you know, pretty much created for the purpose of kind of keeping us down, and also for the purpose of us elevating too, because in a realm like this, you got duality, you know what I mean? Without, you can't find anywhere to rise to unless you're already lower than where you're trying to rise to, you know what I mean? But it's at the tipping point right now to where some of us are waking up, you know, those who know that they're chosen, and those who are still asleep. And they want to keep people as asleep as possible, you know. So that's why the technocratic fucking paradigm that's also being built to replace this current paradigm is going to be about artificial intelligence. It's going to be so motherfucking amazing and magical, everyone's going to believe in it, and that's going to be the next god for everybody else. But that really is just a third dimension version of what you can naturally do. The ways for us to naturally do things like telepathy, to naturally speak with our ancestors. And I'm not talking about dreaming, I'm talking about speak with them, because I've done it before. Meeting spiritual beings, meeting stars, I've done it before. You know what I mean? These are things that we can do once we really just transform the ways that we see ourselves, the ways we view ourselves. A lot of what we think we are and humanity is rooted in materialism. You know, we can say that is like the main word, materialism, things that are finite. And then we look at these things as the end all be all. You know, a metaphor we can think of is that Satan wanted to be God, or wanted to be like God, but it couldn't. So it created its own realm to be God there. You know what I mean? It's like the same shit. Material, things that are finite can never be the spirit. Things that are finite can never be things that are infinite, because the material will pass away and become infinite again. You know, so we can use the bodies that we have, because one thing that we are also is transceivers. So we receive and transmit energy. This is manifested or evident by the coils that we have, you know, as original people. The coils that we have in our hair, you know, these are like wires that connect. It connects to the outside, and just the way our spirits feel internally, you know what I mean? Like, you can be meditating or sleeping or relaxing. You feel relaxed. The things that cloud our mind keep us from getting into that space. I believe it's called a delta state or a beta state. These are different brain waves that you can actually bring yourself into. And these are different frequencies you can bring yourself into. So you're vibrating at different levels, and you can begin to perceive different subtle energies that 100% exist in this realm. Science knew this. They knew this for many, 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 many years. If you want to study more of the scientific aspects of things, that can kind of confirm, I guess, or set you on a path. For those who are not spiritually inclined or may have not, heard of these different terms and things like that, I would say look into epigenetics, study epigenetics, epimutation, study that as well, epimutation, and the morphogenetic field. The morphogenetic field is the scientific version of the aura. We talk about the aura, we talk about the chakra system and things like that. These things are real. You can get to a point to where you practice, you can feel your chakras at will. I feel my chakras at will. Some of them are more active than others, so where I ain't got to think about it and I feel it on. Once that happened to me, I knew this shit was real. You know what I mean? So yeah, the morphogenetic field, you can study that, and that gives you more of a scientific basis. More about epigenetics. Once you do kind of convince yourself in a certain way, and when you normalize these things within yourself, that's when these things start to turn on. Epigenetics, which is a scientific theory, but I actually think it's past the theory. It's past the theory. There's different things within it. That's the theory based in the science world. But epigenetics talks about how your environment turns on and off certain genes. It turns on and off certain genes based on your environment and based on what your ancestors were also exposed to when they were living. Of course, they do it, or they say they're doing it under the guise of, finding out which disease you may have or may be more susceptible to and things like that. So they do it under the notion of health and biology, which is right and exact when we think about biology and about health, because then we get into the realm of how our diets affect how we feel. And how we feel affects how we treat ourselves and treat each other, And when we bring it back to epigenetics, these are things that turns on and off certain genes, So it turns on that survivalness that we have as a collective. And because of that, we have a real trauma identity to where we can't even see ourselves as gods when we the motherfucking gods. You know what I mean? So these are things that we kind of need to be a little bit more privy to and begin to study, When we talk about the New Age movement and things like that, the New Age movement ain't shit. The New Age is the ancient movement. It's just been remixed and repackaged to you in a cookie cutter way. But these are the things that we've been dealing with since ancient times and people still deal with today. It's just now at a certain point that collectively we're all waking up to where we remember who we really are. That this suit I'm wearing is just my conduit for my spirit speaking the way that I'm speaking now. And because of the things that I've been ingrained with and the different concepts that I've had, you know what I mean? Concepts, that's a seed, that's a baby gestating, you know what I mean? When it's born, that's how you bring your knowledge to born. That seed in your mind becomes born. But whose seed is it? You know what I mean? Is it the seed of God, the Most High, or is it the seed of the devil, the lower self, or just the human seed? That's the human seed that's gonna die. You know what I mean? So yeah, this is like a whole thought cloud. You know what I mean? I'm gonna start doing different things in there that I want to break down things point for point, or have more categorized and targeted videos on certain things. But this is kind of what's going on right now. You know what I mean? And that's why they're building AI. You know what I mean? They want to download and digitize your consciousness so you live forever. But that's for people who are going to be locked down in third dimension forever. You know what I mean? Death is not the end. It's not the end. We get into a place that we're either evolving or you're dying and you're still evolving. You know what I mean? But that depends on you. Connecting to yourself, it's hard, man. Because I understand that people, they have different anxieties and people like to be with each other and things like that. But, reality kind of threw us a test, threw us a curveball to cast the sit inside. You know what I mean? Or for people's fear to take over and make them sit inside and make them listen or make them whatever, I'm very grateful that I kind of sat myself down a couple years ago. Once I started to realize, yeah, whatever, I might You know, I might do this. I might look good. I might get my dick sucked. I might get money. I might look this way. I might be able to shit on this nigga and all this shit. That shit don't mean shit. It don't mean shit. It don't mean a goddamn thing. You know what I mean? It don't mean shit. So that's partially why I was like, man, fuck rap. You know what I mean? I am fucking rap. Straight up and down. You know what I mean? Because a lot of that shit don't even fucking help our families. That shit just boosts our pride in a way. You know what I mean? Just some random shit. You meet someone and then you fuck with them. They have a seed. You don't give a fuck about that seed because you was drunk or some shit like that. You wasn't in your right mind. These are the things, materialism, and these are the things that contribute to creating the reality that we continually buy into. And it's time for us to change. It's time for us to detox from these things, man. You know what I mean? It's time for us to do that. I had to really ask myself, how come I can't really chill with people or be somewhere without me wanting to sip sometimes? And there's nothing wrong with that. I still don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, looking to finding more healthy ingredients in your drinks, but it's just, I don't know. You know what I mean? To me, it showed me a lot of my trauma and different things in my past that I didn't deal with, and I was using that to fill in voids. This goes with many things, man. Many things. You know what I mean? Escapism and not accepting. You know, use your mind to imagine instead of escaping. Imagine, like bring it onto a higher aspect, and you can just practice these things too. Practice these things, you know. But we're at a point now that this is the beginning of the shit, and what you do now is what you do now is going to lead to your evolution. We are evolving as a species, especially original people. We are evolving as a species, and the flip side to evolving is artificial intelligence and human symbiosis with that. You know, human symbiosis with that. We're leaving humanity behind, and this is like the beginning birth pangs of seeing the manifestation of that. In the higher realms, it's already over. The higher realms, it's already over. We're playing that shit out right now. You know, so there will be a lot of division. There will be a lot of people who think you should do this or think you should do that. There will be people who think they should do this or think they should do that. You know, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tune in. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tune in, and then my instructions will come from there. You know, my instructions right now was really part of my healing is really just to start speaking like this, man. You know what I mean? It's to start speaking like this. That's the real reason why I fell back, yo, from a lot of shit. Because I started to see that shit is really a fucking illusion, and it is an illusion. You know, so it depends on you. You have your free will. Everyone has their free will, man. But, you know, it is what it is. You choose where you go. Give yourself time. Give yourself patience. Give yourself love. That's what we need as well. Give yourself love. You know, if you made it through this part, if you made it all the way here, then I would say, yeah, you chosen. You know what I mean? Straight up. You had to. Straight up. So it's like, yo, tap into that part of yourself. You know what I mean? Give yourself a chance to connect with yourself and without judging it. Give yourself a chance to come to nature. You know? Give yourself a chance to be grateful for the little things in life. You know? Give yourself a chance to be grateful for breathing. Grateful for a warm shower. Grateful for your ancestors, you know? Grateful that in spite of all the shit you went through, you are who you are today. And knowing that it's going to continue to evolve you. You know what I mean? Be grateful for the opportunity to be fearless. Be grateful for those who still accept you, no matter what. Be grateful for those who do not. For it gives you the opportunity to accept yourself. And to be even more grateful for those who do. And for you to accept them also. You know? These are the things that if we key in more into these things, when things happen astrologically and internally, as within, so without, we will evolve. This will be the superpower that we get. They will develop into superpowers. You know? These are things that was spoken about in ancient texts. They're called CDs. When you're able to use what we call coincidence and serendipity to reprogram and format your third dimension, it's because you tap into the part of yourself that is higher than the third dimension, and you consciously can wield it. To do that, we need assistance. We need assistance from those in higher realms. To do that, we have to quiet our minds and to bring our consciousness to different states. To not be so hyped up all the time. Give ourselves a chance. I think I'm at what? 5 minutes to 10 minutes a day of journaling when I wake up, just to program my day with the positive intention. A lot of it for me is not being hard on myself, you know, but to enjoy who I truly am, even if it's by myself, you know. 5 minutes a day of meditation, saying thank you, instead of always being open for input, always being open for the media telling you how fucked up Trump is, or how fucked up this or that or the other is. I don't want to talk about politics, politricks, parlor tricks, nigga. So I just wanted to really put this out just as a freestyle, man, and to join my spiritual community, you know what I mean? Straight up, for the 144,000, man. We here, man. This is the beginning of shit, you know what I mean? This is what my music is gonna be about. One love, peace.